What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Driving Professor. For those of you who are actually new to the channel, I am your host, Rashid White. All right, so this video today is going to be about fighting traffic tickets and how to avoid getting traffic tickets. And as you know, I am a professional driver. I have over 2 million miles of driving with tractor trailers, buses, and of course, you can't do all that mileage and not get pulled over and not have any type of tickets or interactions with the police. All right, so number one, if you actually do get pulled over, do not be a hole to the cops there, man. Just understand that these people are human beings too, and they have rough days, and you definitely want to try to make their jobs as easy as possible. Just think about it. When you go to work, you want to come in, you want to actually have an easy day. So it's the same thing actually applies to them. Just say, hey, officer, how's your day going? Just treat them nice. Treat them like a human being in a sense, though. And there's a small probability that, the officers will actually probably give you a break. And there's been times in my 24-year career that they actually have, a lot of times. Just by actually being nice to them and not being a tool. But the times where I was an asshole, they made it really difficult for me. All right, so number two, if you do number two, understanding the actual tricks that they actually use when they're actually going to pull people over. So for example, if you see a police officer, that they do this in New York City, if they're sitting on the corner and they're either looking for cell phone violations, people blowing red lights, making illegal turns, not yielding to pedestrians there. So you definitely want to look out for their actual tactics. So definitely, let's say morning rush hour, they love to get people for making illegal left turns. So just understanding their tactics, and if you are going to, let's say, make an illegal left turn, just don't get so emotional in a sense, though. I know that's like you got someplace to go, because if you do get pulled over, it's just going to hinder you even more. So just look, make sure, and if not, just go straight. And those tickets, when they actually setting up to, let's say we're gonna just let's say really kind of target for people making a left-hand turns, or just let's say we're gonna look for people blowing the red light. These type of tickets are really, really hard to actually beat in court in a sense, though. All right, so number three, I'm sorry, get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. Do not go into court being emotional and say, oh, I feel that the officer was actually wrong. No, you're going to need hard evidence in a sense, though, and you're going to want to challenge the officer's subject conclusion in a sense, though. And you can actually do this. So let's say if you get a cell phone violation, you can actually question, the officer will actually have his notes down, and he's going to say, okay, well, I observed such and such and such driving this car, but you can say, hey, which hand was I actually holding the cell phone in, and what color was the cell phone, because you weren't on a cell phone. So part of that you can do is actually have the actual, let's say the records, if you really weren't on a cell phone. But sometimes actually holding a cell phone in some states can actually get you a ticket. So just moving ahead, looking around and understanding where the police are around you, that actually helps right there. I just mentioned that. This is my notes over here. Challenge the officer's observations. So, let's take for instance, let's take a red light ticket. You get a red light ticket, and in his notes, he has to mention the crosswalks there. If he doesn't mention the crosswalks, then you can actually get the ticket dismissed right there, just actual dismissal. But getting back to the lawyer part, and in terms of actually challenging the ticket, definitely get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. You have a 50% chance of actually beating the ticket. There's certain strategies that they actually do by, let's say, in New York City, where I'm at. Well, I don't reside in here anymore, but I'm like, I used to live there. But it's in New York City. There's no negotiating with the, with the city in a sense. Though either you pay the fine, you get the points, or you're not guilty. But like, let's say outside of New York City, and like let's say New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and all 50 states I've been in, then you can actually talk to the prosecutor, and if you have a really good driving record, they can actually turn that parking ticket into some like points on your license. So another thing is that if you actually out of state, then most of the time you gotta check the laws, you gotta check the rules or the laws. Like let's say New York State, where I'm residing, that they don't record tickets from other states or anything like that, except for it's like some Canadian, like if it's Ontario, Nickel City driving. Yep, that's where you from, man. You guys and your government, boy. But Montreal too is another one that actually will report to New York that I received a traffic infraction there. But like I got like 4 or 5 tickets in Ohio and Tennessee. I just paid the damn things, and one in New Jersey, and it was a legal lane change, and I just paid the tickets, and nothing ever went on my license. Nobody knew because they don't want to actually have to share the money that you actually pay with the state or anything like that. So that's actually a good thing. But check the laws, check the driving manual, and see what state. If you're in Ohio, maybe Ohio doesn't do that, or Wyoming. We'll see. All right. So we went over challenging the observations. So another thing is that you show your violation resulted from a mistaken of fact. So sometimes judges often gives some leeway with regard to circumstances beyond a driver's control. So if you can show that you made an honest and reasonable error, a judge might find you made a mistake of fact and dismiss your ticket. But again, get a lawyer and let them argue that. The lawyers will actually take the emotions out of it. Sometimes you can actually show that the violation was necessary to avoid a greater harm. So emergencies not of your own making can justify violation under the necessity defense. So the key to this defense is to prove that it was necessary to commit the violation in order to avoid much greater harm. So like, for example, an unlicensed driver who, let's say, gets behind the wheel to transport a seriously injured child to the hospital can likely beat the ticket. Yeah, and I think most judges, unless they're not human in a sense, would actually look at that scenario and say, okay, yeah, that's definitely reasonable right there. But yeah, man, I think we pretty much went over everything, and I will want to keep these videos short, but if I did miss something, there will be a part 2 of this. And if you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and certainly share this video. And when you share, the universe certainly shares back with you. Peace.